Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Mao, and welcome to a bit of an unscripted rant. Today, I want to talk about specifically blue shards. Um, Blue shards are kind of shit, unfortunately. I think that this is a sentiment that a lot of people in the community have. I know other YouTubers have talked about it in the past. I wouldn't be able to name them personally, but I really think that they need to get a buff. And I think this is only coming to my mind so much in the recent days because of persistence. Arcane persistence is great. We're finally getting some like quote unquote endgame love for health tanking. And unfortunately, it's not doing well. Why? Because most frames don't have enough base health or armor to make proper use of it. Like, yeah, you can treat it like one-shot protection and like Risk of Rain, but unless you have insanely fast healing and pretty much immediate reaction time. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. But if you have decent reaction time, you're going to just be treating it like shield gating, which defeats the purpose of using persistence. Anyway, I would love for blue shards to get some love this year. I know DE's talked about them improving health tanking. I don't know what they exactly mean by that. Hopefully it's going to be changes that we really love. I really have no idea how they're going to improve it. And to a significant point enough where it feels good. Because the nerf to persistence kind of sucked. I get it. 100% people are using it to AFK. Don't let people AFK. That's not good for the game. But it also doesn't help that now one of the endgame activities that most people do, like I do, level cap cascade runs, is now kind of obnoxious for persistence. You know, Thorax deciding to randomly hit you with a magnetic proc and one-shot you, because just turns off your arcane, is not very fun. And that's what it really boils down to, is it fun? So how do we improve this? Obviously, persistence getting a nerf is whatever. We're going to have to work around it. Many frames have status immunity, some much better than others, like Araxia. But, you know, you could always just start using Well of Life. I've put Well of Life on more frames in the last, like, 2 months than I have ever. Like, actually ever. And that's, you know, the solution for the magnetic procs. You know, I have to play within a range of the target so I can get the healing too. It's whatever. And the second life, excuse me, is never going to be bad. So, how do we fix blue shards? Because at this point, there's a lot of frames that have either a lot of health and no armor, like Araxia originally had, or the opposite, which is surprisingly common. There's a lot of frames with really, really good armor options. Either high base armor, an ability that gives them armor, like Hydroid, and not much health to use. So, a lot of people, myself included, are using Arcane Blessing, which is great. Except the fact that now you have both of your arcanes used up and nothing else to do with it, and unfortunately, Arcane Blessing only gives 1200 health. I know I'm asking for a lot, but to make most builds work with Arcane Persistence, you now need to have status immunity, you need to have a lot of health, you need to have a lot of armor, 700 is not a small amount, and then health regen, unless you're willing to use external health regen. And that's a lot to ask for many builds. See, I personally like using Korra with this. I do not mind swapping Venari out, like the actual ability Venari, for Well of Life. And if I remember to use the right footage, you should be watching some of this, some of my gameplay being Korra with this build. If I ever get around to it, I will make a build video on it too, if you're interested. Anyways, what needs to change with blue shards to make them good? Because they suck, realistically. The health regeneration is practically non-existent on most builds, and if you use blue shards for health regeneration, what are you doing? I mean, if you find a really good use for it, I'm open ears. Like, please tell me in the comments. I would love to see a good build with health regen on it. But it doesn't seem relevant. Not only that, health, 250 health, that's not a lot. 250 armor, that's much better, because health values are typically higher than armor values. But it's still not, like, wait, did I phrase that right? Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. These values do not feel impactful enough. When a frame has, 350 base health, adding another 250, like, yeah, it does improve it, don't get me wrong, but there's no way to turn that into a persistence build without having 5 Tau Forged blue shards. And then you're still screwing yourself over, because where's your armor at? Where's your strength? Where's any of the other things that shards can provide? And I'm not a game developer, and I'm not going to say by any means this is the right choice, but here's a crazy idea. Let's make blue shards affect base health. Obviously, we can change the base values of blue shards. Let's say, like 75. Actually, instead of 75 base health, why don't we just make a new shard that just affects base stats across the board? I think that would also be a really good step in the right direction. Anyway, I'm not a game developer, and I'm not saying any of that's the right choice, but please, DE, give us an actual incentive other than just slapping 500 armor onto any given frame to use blue shards. It doesn't feel great getting blue shards as a reward. They do not feel worth putting on most builds. They are basically fodder to be used to make purples, for the most part. Like, the amount of blues I spent just making purple shards for all my melee frames is crazy. I've spent way too much resources doing that. And that feels like the only thing that's worth doing. So, I would love to see a change with it. I think that would help old frames. I think it would still help build crafting. Again, not saying this is the right choice, but it's an idea. And that's the only thing I want to do, is put out ideas. I just want tank frames to be stronger, because I do not like shield gating, which is kind of ironic because I play a lot of Daggeth. But my point stands. Also, speaking of Daggeth, DE, if you ever watch this and you take the ramblings of a random person on the internet, please add an augment for Daggeth where we can ride the horse. Like, make it act like Merlino, where it can, like, redirect damage. Maybe let us cast abilities while on the back of the horse. I don't know. Like, it's an idea. It'd be a lot of work, but it'd be a lot of fun, especially since Kaiths are so underutilized. Just in general, like, why use a Kaith when you have Arcwing? You get Arcwings earlier, they're faster, they have actual abilities, like, that's beside the point. Anyway, if you agree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments. If not, feel free to slander me, whatever, egg my house. No, actually, don't do that. But the point being, you can follow me on Twitch or follow me here if you want more rants in the future. I always appreciate it. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.